Hello, I'm Barry Collins and I'm here with PC Pro's contributing editor, Jon Honeyball, and we're going to talk about Windows XP migration in business. So you've decided to move off Windows XP. What kind of things should be in your migration plan?
Well, a migration plan is kind of like a very grown-up term for something you should have been doing quite some time ago. And my key worry here is that we're asking people who didn't want to have to think about this to have to start thinking about this. And things like migration plans and sort of grown-up terms like this are going to be quite a worry to a lot of people. Firstly, you've got to assess your risk in a meaningful way. If you're on that older hardware, get off that hardware. Why are you still on that hardware? Is it simply because it's there, it's been working? Why change it? Why spend money which you could use, especially in a small business, you could use that for something better immediately? That's okay, but now is the time to actually spend some money on a Windows 7 or Windows 8 machine and to migrate the user off that pretty quickly. If you're still running on XP because there is either some driver software for a piece of particular hardware, maybe a scanner or a printer, or even worse, some sort of industrial process control, or you require some sort of AT extension card or some particular hardware or software driver lock-in, then you're going to have to start thinking, what is the underlying technology you're using here, and is there a newer way of doing it? And that may require some investment. If you're tied into this because you've got a very expensive but 10 or 15-year-old maybe photographic scanner or something, maybe the time is to move that forward as well. So just changing the PC may not actually solve your underlying problem because a new piece of hardware may not work with your existing old external peripherals. Then there's the question of the software. Are you still on XP because there's some mission critical piece of application software that you're still running? And I would be quite cautious at this point. There is still, of course, an awful lot of custom code, VB3 code still out there, 16-bit VB3 code. And it really is time to get off those. They may be useful pieces of code, they may have done great work for you, but it really is time to start moving away from these things and bringing them up to date. And that is where you have to do a very clear understanding as to what is the problem, what is the bottleneck, why haven't you moved before now?
And how do you go about testing those applications for compatibility with Windows 7, Windows 8?
Well, the first thing to do, of course, is get yourself a Windows 7 or Windows 8 machine and try installing those apps. It could well be that the app itself simply won't run. That's one problem. It could be that it won't install, but having installed it will run. Now, there are capabilities inside Windows 7 and inside Windows 8 to help you run legacy applications. And these are very strong technologies inside the operating system. And for example, install or run as legacy application. These types of settings will make the modern OS try and look like and emulate the older OS, and that may get you over the hump. I was looking at a piece of software recently which wouldn't even install on Windows 7 64-bit. It would run having been installed. To install it, you do the run the install program as legacy mode, and it then gets over the problem and gets onto the new hardware. But again, I would ask the question, if you're stuck here with a 10-year-old piece of software with a non-compatible installer or some libraries or something that are a problem on the modern OS, why are you still there? Why is your business tied into something that quite possibly has no support on the application from the original vendor?
Jon Honeyball, thanks very much.